Good afternoon. Welcome to the market close. It is the beginning of another brand new week. This is a bonus market close. Thanks to Y Videos yesterday. We put the challenge out. You guys wanted to get a market close. Y Videos came through. You guys got an extra market close. So let's get right to it. Definitely an interesting day. I had mentioned yesterday that I expected a red market today. And I was saying the reason for that is we got a lot of uncertainty in the investing crew out on the markets because they're looking forward to two things this week. We've got the PPI coming out tomorrow in the US, as well as the US CPI. This is going to tell us the story on what's going on with inflation, and that's what everybody's got their knickers in a bunch all about, is what's going on with inflation. Is if the inflation were to go up, does that mean that that Jay Powell might be changing his tune about whether or not they'll look at another rate hike? That would be a very interesting scenario. But I like to be on the optimistic side. I'd like to say we're gonna have some positive news coming out of this, and that would be our best case scenario. So we're gonna have to see. But until we get there, there's a little bit of fear in the market. It's not a big amount of fear. So as you can see, the market's not down a ton. In fact, let's bring it up. So the S&P 500 is down by 0.04% in the US. Up here in Canada on the TSX, we're down 0.30%. So not down a lot. The NASDAQ is actually in the green, just in the green. They're up 0.18%. Gold is down, but silver's up. Silver's been doing really good this year. So those of you who are fans of silver, you've backed a good horse this year for sure. Oil is up. Look at that, up 1.39% on the West Texas Intermediate. And Bitcoin's having a good day, up 2.66%. And if you look at the candlestick on the other side, this is Bitcoin. This is how the day started. Nice big pump. Yeah. Well, basically each one of these candlesticks is 1 hour. So that was the first 4 hours of the day, just going up, up, up. Now we're moving sideways again, but not a bad day. Not a bad day at all. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at, of course, our heat map. We'll start with Canada. You can definitely see the red in there. The railroads, see the railroads are down. Brookfield Corporation is down. Manulife Financial, we got a lot of people down. Shopify is still going down, not by a lot though. So is there anything really positive? Well, Dollarama up 1.66%. So we got a little bit of positive here. Not a lot though. There's a lot of things that are down. Like look at this. Look at Nutrients down 2.05%. I do want to go back to Shopify for a second. Let's go in here because as you can see with Shopify, they had, of course, their earnings, and we had that massive crash, and we still really haven't picked any momentum up to the upside. So those people who are buying in now thinking, oh my gosh, I'm getting a great deal. Well, you are. And I know a lot of people bought in around the 86, 85 mark. And, here we are now down at 80. It does look to be coming out a little bit, but that might be another step. Maybe we're going to go down further. I don't know. We'll have to see how this week turns out. So that's going to be all fun and games. Over to the US heat map. A little bit better. Apple's doing good. They're up 2.12%. Tesla's coming back again, 1.96%. That's not too shabby. Amazon is down. Microsoft down a little bit. Meta, though, down 1.67%. So, yeah, a little bit of red in the U.S. market as well. All right. And, of course, crypto looking a lot better. So when Bitcoin has a good day, so up 2.51%, everybody follows. Solana, look at that, up nice 3.49%. XRP is up. And Dogecoin, look at this. Dogecoin up 6.43%. Holy banana bread. And We got Shiba Inu up 5.60%. But if you look in the little vortex here, there's still a good amount of red in there. Still a good amount of red. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that is going to look out. All right, let's get back here. Let's get to chat. You guys have been just absolutely hitting it up in the chat. Let's see here. We got Vancouver Isle guy, Mr. Kevin, first in the house with a hello. I was putting up the message of the day, and he may have thought it was a response to him, but it is. It's a response to everybody. So yeah, absolutely. Yes, GameStop had an interesting day today. I think it had to do with this kitty thing that came out. So I haven't looked too much into it. I don't think it was a Wall Street Bets thing. I think it was something else. But yeah, GameStop, you never know. It's kind of like, it's one of those stocks where you can make a lot of money if you time it right, but timing is everything. You can more than likely lose a lot of money, and when you see it starting to go up and you're like, I'm going to jump in, and then it's too late and it starts to go back down. So yeah, I'm happy to break banana bread with you, Candace. Yeah, absolutely. Let's all break banana bread. I like banana bread. Enid says, I'm going to join you guys after the yoga class. All right. All right. Get your stretch in. Get your stretches in for sure. We get a hello all from Enid. Good Vibes is in the house. We got Hands in the house. Another hello from Kevin. Another hello. 9 is in the house. My Royal Bank position is finally in the green again. Nothing like that. There's nothing like if you've had a position for a long time and you've been waiting for the green. Holy banana bread. It's great when you do get that green. It's definitely a good day for sure. Those of you who are here right away, you notice I did add the little countdown thing on this one as well. So basically, the only reason I'm adding that is it gives people who have to watch ads a chance to get the ads out of the system. So if you didn't see the countdown thing, it's because it was happening while the ads were playing. So you didn't miss anything. The kitten's over there playing with something. I was just checking that out. But yeah, so now we have that for both. I've got it set for a minute. And you don't lose any of the show because I actually start it and click the live button 1 minute before the show starts. That way there, the countdown plays that minute the minute pre-show. It's a minute pre-show. So you don't lose anything. Anyway, yeah, and we also changed a little bit of the format. I've been playing a little bit with the logos and things like that for these. So, always trying to improve. Yeah, absolutely. Mohammed is in the house with a hi, everyone. All right, we got about 7 minutes. 7 minutes until the bell. So, and I got the bell right here. It is all. Try to move it here without accidentally ringing it. It is all here and ready to go. I am ready to give it a good old shake when we hit that 4 o'clock point. Y Videos in the house. Y Videos responsible for this stream. So thank you once again, Y Videos. And hi, and thank you for the shout out. Watching with a delay again. Holy banana bread. Yeah, I don't know how long the delay is. It's like, I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure how long that delay is. And I think I'm going to double check my settings because I would like the delay to be as small as possible. But I think part of the delay is that YouTube sort of scans. So when you guys are chatting in the chat, let's say you decide, not you guys, but let's say a troll comes in and starts saying some very inappropriate things in chat. Well, what happens during the delay is the algorithm looks at it and says, uh-oh, look at all of that profanity. We're going to filter that one out. So if you were to come in here as a troll and, put out a whole string of really bad words, it's probably not even going to make it into chat. And the same thing happens on the videos. Like on YouTube, when you guys leave a comment, if you put any kind of profanity in it, it usually gets filtered out by YouTube. In addition to that, if you put a link, it will filter out links as well. It doesn't like you doing that. So sometimes you have to be a little, kitty cat, don't knock stuff over. Sometimes you have to be a little bit careful when you're putting stocks in. So if you put, for example, let's say you wanted to ask me about TD and you put td.to, sometimes the algorithm will look at that and think you're trying to do a website. So they think that the dot is indicating a web address, and it might filter you. Sometimes I get lucky, and there's sort of like this little area it can put it where I can go in and approve it. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it just completely deletes it. So if you ever reply or leave a comment and I don't reply, and you left something like that, that's probably why, because I do my best to reply to absolutely everything. And there's Andy. Andy is in the house with a hi, everyone. And when I say I reply to everything, I reply to all comments. So, but if I reply to your comment and then you reply to my reply, unless you specifically are asking for more information or you're asking an additional question, I'm probably just going to heart that. But the initial comment, I will reply 100%. And if you have, like I said, if you have an additional question, or you want some clarification on something I said in my answer, then I'll come back. I'll definitely come back and comment on those as well. All right. Let's see. Have you got the chance to check out GPT-4o today? Some pretty amazing advancements in AI assistant. Actually, here's the funny thing. I just watched the video on that just before the stream. So yeah, it looks really, really interesting, especially the conversational part of it. So AI is absolutely revolutionizing. And I know right now, as it is, when I talk to Chat GPT, it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool, even the responses. So I have a lot of faith in what's happening, and it is always good to see things coming down the road. Now, keep in mind, the next big advancement is going to be Chat GPT 5. And that's expected to come out this year, so before the end of the year. So that could be very, very interesting. So we'll have to sort of keep our eyes on AI. And of course, as investors, we'll want to keep our eyes on AI stocks at the same time. And that's the hard part. That's one of the reasons I usually will advocate that if you're trying to keep your fingers in the AI pie, is start looking at tech ETFs. Tech ETFs are a way that you can definitely get in there. Or if you want to like hit a company like NVIDIA, of course, being central when it comes to chips capable of processing all the power that AI needs. So definitely something to keep in mind. 9 says only banana bread trolling allowed. Yes, absolutely. You can come in and do as much banana bread trolling as you want. So awesome, awesome, awesome. And once again, hey Starbucks, remember me? Just keeping it real here for you. Oh, we almost got time. We almost got time for the market close. So the bell is minutes away. I'm just pulling back the thing just to see if we got any changes. Everything is still in the red, but it's a little bit better. We were at negative 60 something. We're now at negative 50. So we're getting there. Quiche, quiche trolling. Okay, well, sure. We can definitely do some quiche trolling. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, we got 1 minute. So we're in that 1 minute moment from the bell. This is that moment when it's like when you're trading, it's like sometimes it's actually funny when you look at the market. Sometimes in that first 5 minutes and that last 5 minutes, you can sometimes get some of the craziest moves, which is actually pretty darn cool. So far today, I'm going to take a quick gander here. Nothing. I'm not seeing anything big that's popping up in the last tiny bit, but that's fine. That's fine. We'll get there here in a second. All right, we got about 25 seconds left. I'm very conscientious now about trying to hit that bell on time. It's like, come on, you're a professional bell ringer. You gotta do it. You gotta hit it at time. All right, we're at 10 seconds. There we go. I have the bell in my hand. I am ready. I am ready. We got 3 seconds. 2, 1. Here we go. And the market's closed. Woohoo. Ha ha ha. Ah, that's fantastic. There's nothing like ringing that bell loud. Everybody should have a bell that they can ring every so often. It just makes it all very, very cool. And exactly, Sammer, we got the bell. We got it. Markets closed. End of the first day of this week. Fantastic. We're going to take a look here, get the last look at the markets here in just a moment. Mohammed says, AI will crash most customer service jobs as well as many other jobs. Do you think that will lead to a panic and a dip in stocks? No. I mean, because here's the thing. Customer service is a huge expense for a lot of companies. So by replacing people with AI, sorry, people, I'm just saying that to the people because I don't want people to sort of, I don't want to make light of the fact that people will lose their jobs. But from a company's perspective, a lot of call centers, they actually call them cost centers because of how expensive they are. That's one of the reasons why a lot of call centers have been outsourced to places where they can get cheaper labor, like, India or the Philippines or something like that. So having AI do it is fantastic. Now, here's some huge advantages. For the company, it will be perfect. They will follow the rules. They don't have to train, all of the training budget gone. And AI will do what the company wants. They'll follow that agenda. They don't have to crack a whip to try to get you to sell or upsell products. AI will just do it, and AI will probably do a better job at it than regular people. As a customer, all right, when you call into a call center, getting AI will be fantastic because let's just say I have called into call centers where I could not understand the person on the phone because of language barriers. It may be that they just had a very thick accent, but and I've worked in a call center before. I sometimes would get somebody who had a very thick accent calling in, and it was hard to communicate. I mean, we still got it done, but with AI, let's say, for example, you are some obscure language. Let's say you moved here from Africa and you speak Swahili. I think that might be I don't know if that's a language or just a people, but let's say you speak Swahiliese or whatever, some language, strange language. AI can pretty much just switch to your language and hold a very fluid conversation with you. So from both sides, as for a customer, you can call in and you're always going to get somebody who can speak in your language. That's fantastic. I think that's really, really, really good. Now with the AI too, and even with this chat GPT that they were demonstrating today, you can pretty much turn on chat GPT and you can have somebody there with a completely different language and you can use it as an interpreter, almost like a seamless interpreter. So it's getting really, really good. If you've ever watched Star Trek, they got that whole universal translator thing, so everybody can communicate with each other. We're kind of on the dawn of that type of technology right now. So I think that's going to be, really, really, really good. All right, let me get quickly caught up here, and then we'll take our final look at the market. And he says, speaking of AI, I have noticed that Adobe has some nice plans to include it in their products. I added them today, and it will keep an eye on them until their next report. Yes, Photoshop has been incorporating AI into it like crazy. And there's a lot of incredible things that you can do in Photoshop. Absolutely. So I think it's going to be more the norm that everything is going to just keep on increasing the amount of AI in it. And why wouldn't you? If you can make a product easier for people to use, well, what does that do? It does two things. One, your current customer base is happy as a clam because they can do more stuff with your product. Two, and this is the big one. It helps create a bridge to customers who perhaps struggled with your product and couldn't use it very well and couldn't get the results that they need. So, so for example, Photoshop is very complicated. It's a complex program. There's a lot to it. But the more AI you put into it and the more AI can do a lot of that grunt work for you in Photoshop, there's a lot of people who wouldn't normally buy Photoshop because of that complexity, but they'll be on it. They'll buy it. And what, of course, does that happen? What, of course, does that do? Well, that means that you sell more units. That is more revenue going into Adobe. That, of course, makes the share price a lot easier. A lot easier. And Sammer bought some DE today. Nice, nice. I do like DE, and they are currently they're currently down a little bit, but I do have a lot of confidence in DE, so that's a good buy. Oh, Y Video says, no, the delay is voluntary. It's only that I started watching after you started. Okay. And I rewind to watch from the beginning. Fair enough. Fair enough. That makes sense. I do that too. I do that too when I'm watching somebody else's live stream. I like to get right in there at the beginning and have it playing in the background as I'm working on something else. So yeah, that's absolutely cool. All right, guys, let's take our final look at the market. So we did finish the S&P 500. Look at that. So close to being green, but not. Down negative 0.02%. So we'll call it a flat day. We seem to be saying that a lot lately with these markets. The TSX a little bit deeper, 0.22% in the red. So, a red day here in Canada. NASDAQ, though, technology, they're still kind of flat, but they're at least in the green at 0.2%. Gold's still down. Silver's up. WTI is up. Bitcoin, of course, is up, as we mentioned before. And our good old Canada heat map. So here, let's actually remove some of these negative ones and take a look here. This way here, we can see the winners. We just want to look at the winners right now. So yeah, Dollarama, they did finish up 1.75%. Alimentation Couche-Tard, down a little bit. I don't know what Canadian Tire did. Let me pull Canadian Tire. Canadian Tire, look, they've had a little bit of an improvement here, but that's not too shabby, not too shabby. Yeah, BMO, Bank of Nova Scotia, doing well. TD seems to be rebounding a little bit. Let's pull them up. So since that big crash, they got down right here. They got down as low as 74 after all of the money laundering stuff, but they have made it back up. Now, once those fines drop in the U.S., I do expect another drop at that point. But, is that the bottom, the 74.80? I was thinking the bottom was going to be closer to 70, but 74.80, not a bad place to buy if that is your cup of tea. All right. And as I said, Shopify down a little bit. All right, Sun Life Financial. They had a fairly big drop as well. So that's what I like. One of the things I love about TradingView is simply that you can do so much in it. So I always find that kind of cool. All right, let's. I'm gonna bring back the losers, and the losers for the day, not the losers. We'll head over to the U.S. here for a moment and pull up Meta. Look at Meta. I mean, Meta is still a strong company. They had a little bit of a drop, but they're still doing fine. I think they're doing fine. I think they are going to be doing absolutely fine as we move forward. So Meta is one of them companies, and Tesla had a pretty good day. So, we'll drag this out a little bit. Yeah, so here you can see they're coming back up a bit ever since they had this big. Now, this is the nice thing. They had this big pump from, the two things, one, of course, being their earnings, the other being that news about self-driving cars in China. They came down a little bit, but not that much. And now, hopefully, they're back up. Hopefully, they're going to do well. Tesla is that company that I always want to see them do a little bit better. Those of you interested in Coke and Pepsi, they're both up. So we'll leave it there. Let's head over to crypto one last time. Bitcoin up a good 2.65%. Solana, like I said, when Bitcoin rises, everybody else pretty much follows. So, what is this? Bitcoin Cash? Yep, Bitcoin Cash. I just had to click on it to make sure. I thought that's what it was. But yeah, there we go. That is our market for today. Now, give me 1 second here. Let's go back to big me for a moment. All right. And 9 says, yeah, if I came in late to a stream, I'll put playback speed on 2x to catch up. There we go. There we go. 2x. Yeah. I just listened to that 1x. It's just me. I don't know what it is. Like, especially, but I really should. Like, sometimes I'm watching streams after the fact, and sometimes they're boring as all banana bread. So those ones I probably should put on 2x, but I never do. But I should. I definitely should. Ricardo's in the house. Good afternoon. Your thoughts on Axon? I am kind of holding it as a bag now since I missed my exit before earnings. I don't have any thoughts on Axon, but let's go take a gander at Axon. All right, we'll come over here. All right, good old Axon Enterprise. Let's take a look at their 3 years, see what's been going on. Well, this isn't that bad. I like the look. I do like the look of their upward growth. As we take a look here, I want to see a couple of things here. All right. So they develop, manufacture, and sell conducted energy devices and cloud-based digital evidence management software used by, well, pretty much law enforcement and military from the looks of it, and security. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Now, let's go over here and take a gander at a couple of things. All right, so their return on equity, 12.10. Not bad, not bad. I mean, I'd like it a little higher, but it's still not bad. Return on assets, 5.54%. So yeah, that's not too shabby. Now, kind of curious about one thing though. Let's want to go over to simply wall.st and we'll drop Axon in here. All right, so let me see. So according to this, over the last year, their earnings grew by 90.9%. That's not too shabby. That is really not too shabby. Now, they are only forecast to grow over the next few years, 4.62%. But when you look at something like this and they have this massive growth spike, that could explain why you're getting a slightly lower one over the next few. Now, they do, apparently there was some, and those are the only two kind of risks in here. So there's been a little bit of dilution in the last year and some large one-off items. In fact, yeah, to me, that's normal. Like sometimes if you do something like expand or you buy a company or something like that and you add it in, that creates these one-off items. So that just means it's a one-time buy. Your money will be fine next year. You won't have that as a factor. See if there's anything else in here. So they're saying the debt level's not that bad. Yeah, that's good. They don't pay a dividend. So for the most part, I don't see anything wrong with this company just from, now this is not a deep dive, but just from doing a scratch on the surface, I think Axon looks fine. So, yeah, I mean, if you're looking to exit, I think you'll get the opportunity. Just hold on. It'll get back in the green from the looks of things. I mean, they have upward momentum. So not a bad thing. Oops, we'll pull that down here for the moment. AI will benefit the companies for sure, but will it crash the job market as well? The question is, what will happen to the stock market in general when the panic starts? AI is going to replace most jobs down the road. It's not going to happen overnight, though. We still have a long way to go to see how that's going to happen. Now, will it panic the market? It's hard to say. A lot of institutional investing is being taken over by AI. So a lot of, we're at a situation where I even see down the road, I would say by, let's say within 10 years, um, I think you'll be foolish to be trying to do day trading or even swing trading at that point because, well, you might still be able to do it, but I think it's going to be a lot harder because AI is going to pretty much have everything nailed down at that point. Um, Here's the thing. People panicking, it really depends on what they're doing with their money. And the retail investors are only so much. They can, if they all get together and panic together, like synchronized panicking, maybe we could have a little bit of a thing, but the market will bounce back. And here's the thing. As jobs disappear, new jobs appear. It's always happened this way. So back in the really old days when cars came along, people were worried. People were like, "Oh my God, you're going to put, people like blacksmiths, like people who make horseshoes, people who build carriages for horses out of business." Um, and they did, but then there was new jobs. There's always new jobs. So right now, when it comes to AI, I think you as a person who works, your best bet is to learn how to use it, the new tools, learn how to become proficient with AI. Because the people who are going to lose their jobs are people who are not using AI at all. But if you're a worker who uses AI, that's going to give you probably more protection than other people. So what will happen though when we start losing all these jobs? We kind of get into a situation where the government has to do something, and that's when things like UBI start to pop up. So universal basic income at that point, so people can still, because if you just sort of say, okay, here's a big chunk of the population, they don't have jobs. So what? So sad. Have fun. Well, you do that, and what are they going to do? They're going to rise up against you, whether it be through crime, whether it be by revolution. So you can't let people get to that point. And we kind of saw, if you think about it, with the pandemic and some of the supports that we had, they were almost a sort of a dress rehearsal for how something like that would work. And I think they learned a lot of things about how it shouldn't work. So we have to sort of see how that is going to go. Now, what will society look like when we've got AI doing most of the jobs? Let's just be honest. Eventually, down the road, um, as a person, you'll be free to do whatever it is you want because AI is going to be doing, most of the stuff. Like you won't have a family doctor. You'll have an AI robot in your house that will be your family doctor. It'll also be your lawyer. It'll do all of those things, and it will be more proficient than an actual doctor. So you take an actual doctor, like a family doctor. They've probably seen hundreds, well, more than hundreds. They've probably seen thousands and thousands of patients, and they've run into thousands of different scenarios. So they have a pretty good idea of what's going on. But an AI robot, so an AI doctor, well, it will have billions. It'll have seen billions of variations. It'll have pretty much seen anything documented. So to me, you're not going to have anything fall through the cracks with the AI in a situation like that. So I think society is going to change. And this is the thing. We're at the forefront of a massive change technologically, and just even the actual structure of society. It's all on the verge of a massive change. And I don't think anybody truly understands exactly how it's going to look on the other side. So one of the things I've been thinking about is I don't know when, but definitely probably early summer. I would like to do, how I did that one special live stream crypto thing where I brought a panel on. I'd like to do that for AI. So that's kind of the next one of those this week presents or whatever we're going to call it. Um, well, I guess in this case, it would be this week AI night or something like that. We'll come up with something. But that's something I do want to do. And I've already got at least one person I'm eyeing that I want to try to get on the show. So we'll have to see. I think that'll be fantastic. But Yeah, don't ignore AI. That's all. That's my biggest advice right now is don't ignore AI. Use it to the best of your ability if you're still working. Now, if you're already retired, you probably use it for fun. If you're sitting at home and you're bored, pick up the app, pick up ChatGPT and ask it to tell you a story and tell it what you want the story to be about. It's to the point that it can do it. It can it can amuse you, or you can just have a conversation with it, and it's only going to get better. So when you look at it now and you're like, wow, this is really cool. Well, times that coolness by 100. And it's not going to take long. It's not going to take long. All right. Ricardo says, I've been playing it since it was $94 in 2021. Ooh, very nice. Very nice. So you're definitely in the green, my friend. 9 says, central banks will step in during a market panic. The government wants the market to go up to collect more taxes. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to happen. Here's the thing. Everybody is watching AI, especially governments. They're watching it like a hawk. Like you may think, oh, well, there's no real oversight. They're not really doing anything, but no, they're watching it because AI has that potential to be society changing. Just something to keep in mind. Vancouver says Hunger Games Society coming. Well, I don't know about that, but we'll have to see. Do you use AI for editing? Well, here's what I use AI for. My pictures. So when I make thumbnails, I will generally use AI. So the thumbnail for this show today, AI created the picture of Toronto at night, and then I did the rest. On this week, all of them funky little pictures I use for the news stories. That's most of it's done with AI. Like yesterday, every single one was AI, except for the one with Prince Charles or King Charles. I did that one manually because AI won't touch celebrities. So, but yeah, so I do it. I do that. Other things. What other things do I use AI for? Sometimes if I have uh, I just need a little bit of information in a company, and I find this massive, basically data dump. I might just dump that into AI and say, "Hey, can you boil this down for me?" Little things like that. So that tends to be the most of what I use AI, but I would say 90% of what I use AI for is image generation. Um, and that's to me, that's pretty cool. So, anytime, if you ever look at my thumbnails, any of my thumbnails that have, um, like an actual drawing to them or something, like for example, which one was it? The one that had, the last 0 to 100K had the guy with the money bag and the torch at the bottom of a well type thing. That was AI. I had AI do that one. Mohammed said, so which AI stocks do you recommend? Well, obviously NVIDIA, Microsoft, and I'm even going to go out on a limb and say Apple. Apple has been eating up a lot of AI companies. They even bought a Canadian one not that long ago. And once I think WDDC comes out, we're going to hear Apple's plans for AI. So I think you can't count them out. But here's the thing: trying to pick individual, especially the smaller stocks that might explode or may not, because there's going to be so many little stocks. All you have to do is say, "Oh, we're AI company," and people want to buy them. So you got to be really careful because that's kind of the whole thing with the .com. When the .com bubble broke, a lot of these little crap things where anybody throwing a .com on them was making money hand over fist, even if they didn't have a product. It's the same kind of thing with AI. You just have to say AI, and people are throwing money hand over fist at the company. But that will all the cream will rise to the top, and a lot of these small ones will just disappear. So if you don't want to get suckered into the smaller ones, another option is, of course, just take a look at at a good ETF, like a tech ETF, whether it be something like QQQC, things like that. And I imagine we're going to start seeing a lot of AI specific ETFs start popping up if they haven't already started. So be on the lookout for that. All right. And Kevin's saying NVIDIA. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, Meta, Google, Amazon, Apple, Tesla. Tesla's that other one. Like Tesla, like Elon Musk came out just recently and he said that we're not a car company, we're an AI company. So, because of their self-driving technology. So I never bet against Tesla. They always find a way to make it back, even when you think they're down and out. They then explode at that point. So yeah, Tesla's a good one as well. And Microsoft, of course, they gave a whole bunch of money to OpenAI. So Microsoft is a given. They're almost in a way. Investing in Microsoft is like investing in OpenAI at this point. And Kevin saying it's almost Hunger Games society right now. Well, yeah, I mean, I think at this point, um, using the word hunger from Hunger Games, we are at a point where if you look at inflation, you look at grocery prices, there's a lot of people who are in those situation where, they're probably struggling just to figure out how to feed their families, for sure. It's tough out there. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Absolutely. But that's what this is all about. Like this community, you guys, all of us, things like Blossom as well. I mean, it's about getting, all of us to make the right choices when it comes to finance, when it comes to investing. So that way, when when things are hitting, when stuff that I won't name is hitting the fan, um, we should be in better places to deal with it than people who, for example, don't invest and are just living paycheck to paycheck and doing what they can. Amvest says, would you use AI for investing? And if so, how? Um, no, not yet. Not yet. For one of the reason, like if you take ChatGPT is only trained up until December of 2023. So the end of December. So, it doesn't have, so you would need an AI that has complete access to real time, everything that's happening this second. Um, that would be fine. Now, sometimes I'll ask AI a question. Like if I have, let's say I have a company that's just doing absolutely terrible and I have looked at the fundamentals and I can't find an answer in there. Sometimes I'll throw it at AI and see what it wants to do. And it might throw me an answer and I'll be like, okay, I'll go investigate that. And most times it's actually right. um, but, a lot of times if it's something that's right on the cusp, so something that's happened like this morning, AI probably doesn't know about it yet. Well, at least this AI. There's other AIs out there, of course, like, you've got over on X, you've got Grok. There's Claude and a few others as well out there. So, yeah. So for now, no. But I think Andrew Zick, was it Andrew Zick? I think it was Andrew Zick. I did something where he had AI pick some stocks for him. I don't know how that went, but keep in mind when we actually get beyond all of this panic and we got rate cuts on both sides and we move into a full-on bull market, um, it could get to a point where you could just pretty much put all of your stocks on a dartboard and throw a dart and you're going to hit a winner. Um, you know, it could get like that. It was, I believe, during the pandemic when we were in the last bull market, somebody actually did that. They had a monkey or something pick their stocks, and they actually beat the S&P 500. So who figures? Um, I think Intel is still a strong company. I wouldn't count them out, and they're also going. I mean, Intel, especially when you're looking at I guess the Windows side of the equation, they're the main manufacturer. Now, Intel used to give chips to Apple, but now Apple has moved into their own chipset. But I think Intel is still strong as well. All right, there we go. Let's see. Intel is gearing up behind the scenes and getting money from the U.S. government via the CHIPS Act. Okay, there we go. Big time on sale. Yeah, absolutely. I do. I like Intel, but If I could only buy one chip manufacturer, I would go with NVIDIA, 100%. But, Intel would definitely be in there, AMD as well. What? I'm not sure what the what is. Oh, here we are. Oh, what are your thoughts on YTSL? Well, I recently did a deep dive, like about a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago. Um, I do like YTSL. It's one of these ones where when I went into it, I wasn't expecting it to beat Tesla on total return. But when you reinvest all of the dividends back into YTSL from YTSL, it just did. It did. I was kind of impressed with that. So I do think that YTSL they have a fantastic dividend. Yeah, absolutely. But I also think that as Tesla makes its recovery, that's going to be a nice little. There's going to be some nice little growth on that with the dividends. I mean, Tesla will look bigger on the screen, but once you factor in all those dividends and the reinvestment, you'll hopefully, if it keeps to what it's been doing, you'll hopefully beat them. So just kind of a thought there. Any thoughts on Palantir? Looks like too expensive with a PE ratio over 60. Yeah. Um, they do have a higher PE ratio, and that is absolutely concerning. I haven't really, it's not a stock that I've really been attracted to. So I haven't looked at it a lot, but I do know that they have a high PE ratio. And I know a lot of people, especially on the US side, um, go crazy. A lot of people go crazy over it. And sometimes when people really, really uh, get sort of fanatical about a stock, it makes me want to stand back a little bit. So, but I haven't looked much deeper into it than that, Mohammed. So I don't want to say it's a bad stock. I'm just saying it's one that it hasn't really interested me. Jonathan, yes, you're late. What happened? Did you? Oh, maybe. Well, you know what? This is a bonus one. So, who's expecting a bonus one? Well, other than the people who were in yesterday's stream and saw that we were going to have a bonus one. So that's kind of cool. Oh, wow. This is cool. Yeah, like GameStop was up over 100% earlier today. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at GameStop. I think that would be fun. Let's see here. Let's pull this back up. And how do I want to do this? We'll do it with this one here. I don't think I have GameStop in this list. I might, but I don't know. Let's do it. GameStop. Here we go. GME. I didn't have it. All right. So let's pull GameStop up. So yeah, look at this. Started the day down here at this is the day here, but they finished the day on Friday at 1749. And look at this today when they opened. They got up to 38.20. 38.20. Holy banana bread. Yeah, but this is that whole I keep wanting to say Hello Kitty or Racing Kitty or whatever that kitty thing is. I didn't look that much into it, but yeah, they just did absolutely crazy. So if you had known ahead of time that this was going to happen. So I don't think this was, like I said, this wasn't a Wall Street's bet. It was just something else. It was something else. It was. Well, here's the news down here. Does the news tell me anything? Let me see here. All right. Let's see. S&P closes. There, Roaring Kitty. That's what I was thinking about here. I'll pull this up. Here's the news story. So Roaring Kitty rides again. Gamification may be back in GameStop's meme stock rally. So here we go. So GameStop shares are skyrocketing following the return to social media of influential investor and analyst Keith Gill, who's known as Roaring Kitty. Here we go. Let's see. The meme stock rally that sent shares of GameStop skyrocketing Monday has sparked memories of the gamification of trading that occurred during the meme stock frenzy in 2021. So yeah, that whole meme stock frenzy, that of course was the whole Wall Street bets part here. So Definitely interesting, something to sort of look here. So we have to sort of see. So apparently, let's see, so they were up 67.5% following the return of a Roaring Kitty. So I guess Roaring Kitty has a big follower base and says buy. It's sort of like Elon back when the days when he would pump, just mention Doge, and up it would go. But yeah, that's always dangerous. It's always dangerous because when you're relying on somebody to say something about the stock to get it up, especially if you went up the last time and you didn't get out in time and you're down in the hole, and then you're just sitting there waiting for Elon to talk about Doge or Roaring Kitty to talk about GameStop. Not always the best, because here's what does happen. Like, even though this looks impressive, right? A lot of people who was hearing this morning, oh my God, GameStop is exploding. Well, if you got in anywheres above $33 up in here, you're sitting in that red. You're sitting in that red, and you're hoping that Roaring Kitty mentions GameStop again tomorrow and sort of rallies people to start buying. So in a way, it's a little bit like Wall Street bets, other than not being Wall Street bets. So what can I say? Oh, that's kind of funny. All right, let's bring Big Head back again. You're welcome, Mohammed. JJ says, "Oh snap! I didn't know there was a live today. I'm currently driving. Oh dear. Normally it's Vic who's driving and watching. So be careful, JJ. Be careful. I'll try not to say anything too funny because I don't want you to have I don't want to cause another car accident. I actually did cause a car accident once by being too funny. So I don't want to do it again. Let's see here. Ricardo says, could you tell me how Groy earnings was by any chance? I have absolutely no idea, but let's take a look here and see if I can get you some information. Oh, I got to bring this back up. So Groy, I actually don't know who Groy is, but let's take a look here. Here we go. Oh, Gold Royalty Corp. Okay. Oh, I like that already. I like Royalty Corp. So let's go down to Groy. Here we go. Here is Groy. Here's the earnings right here. So right now we got estimates, but we don't actually have anything yet. So it hasn't come through yet on, at least on my database. But so I don't know how it went, but hopefully they went well. One of the things I guess going for Groy is gold has been doing well lately. So if you're a royalty company holding royalties in different gold mines, that can only be good for you for sure. So right now, I'm not even seeing any after hours action currently on Groy. So we'll have to see. Yeah. Well, here's why. So their earnings report is tomorrow. I guess it helps if we actually look at that, right? So there we go. So probably it says 13:30, but I believe this uses like some standard time that might be, it's sort of over towards Greenwich or something. So that's like in the morning. So, tomorrow we should have information on them. All right. What is your strategy to long-term protect your investments? Thanks again. Well, my number one strategy, and this is going to sound kind of off the cuff, but don't pick crap. If you want long-term investments, that's when you need to be looking at the stocks that are good. You need to be looking at the fundamentals. You need to be looking at blue chip. You need to have a clear strategy. So when I say strategy, it's like, okay, how long do I plan to hold this? Is this something I'm holding for life? If it's something I'm holding for life, I had a video called Circle the Wagon. So it was all about Circle the Wagon stocks. And these are those core stocks that are really, really good, because when you look at a portfolio overall, you are going to pick losers. Every single one. I'm going to pick losers. You're going to pick losers. It's going to happen. But you want to have these fantastic core hold forever stocks as kind of like the circle the wagon idea. So back in the days of the pioneers, if they're being, if a group of pioneers were being attacked by whoever, I'm not going to say who's attacking them, but if somebody's attacking them, they would put their wagons in a circle to make it easier to defend. And that's kind of the general idea with your stocks. So you're looking to pick, some really good stocks. So an example of a really, really good circle your wagon stock is CNR. So CN, it's not going anywhere. It's part of the supply chain. It's pretty much got a monopoly on the Canadian North and all of the minerals and transportation of the goods out of the North. So, they're a circle of wagon stock. I would also say CP, CP, Canadian Pacific, Kansas City, another circle your wagon stock. Most of our banks are circle your wagon stocks. So, keep your core in stocks that are never going to really, that you don't even need to babysit them. You can pretty much dump money in them and forget them. And then do your ventures, do your trading outside of that. Because then if you screw up, and let's say even if you have like if 75% of your portfolio is these stocks that you can hold forever, even if every single other stock, the entire 25% completely tanked on you, you still got 75% of your core holdings that are going to continue to grow, and you can just leave them alone. And even if they go down, you can just wait them out, and they're going to come back up. So circle your wagon stocks as your best bet when it comes to long-term protecting your investments for sure. Ricardo's throwing in, get some puts on the shares. You have to protect them so that they don't go down, so you can hedge your bet. So yeah, and that's another thing you can do. You can certainly hedge your bets. I've known people, for example, if they invest heavy in oil, they might also invest in an inverse oil ETF in case oil goes down. I'm more the type, now personally, if I've got a lot of investments in oil and then oil starts going down, that's when I'll invest in an inverse. I'm not going to hold an inverse when oil's going up because that inverse is going to be going down. Simple as that. So I kind of be a little more strategic about that way. Kevin says, too many people investing nowadays that have no clue. Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, here's the thing. Every time on the market, every time you make profit, somebody is losing profit. So for every win, there's a loss. It all balances out. So just, something to keep in mind. So when you make a really great deal on the market, somebody's really, really screwed up on the other end of that deal. And they're like, I lost a bunch of money. They gave in to FUD or probably FUD in that case. And they sold at a loss while you're picking it up at a gain, while you're picking it up at that loss price, and you're going to turn it into a gain. So it works that way. That's just kind of the nature of the market. So easy to invest with all the apps. Yeah, the apps make it easy. But here's the thing. And this is kind of the problem for new investors. When you come into the market, because the apps make things so easy to invest, you can get into that point where you start moving things a bit too much, and it's easier to give into FUD, for example. And it goes back to that saying, and I mentioned this yesterday, the more you handle a stock, it's like soap, right? The less of it you end up having. So a lot of times when you do have that easy access through the apps, you got to be very careful. You got to be very, that's where we go back to what Amvas had said in regards to, those long-term protection stocks. So if you've got your circle your wagon stocks, those are the ones you're just not going to touch. You're going to leave them there. If anything, you're just going to simply add or DCA more into them, but you just leave them alone. You don't want to be sort of selling and coming back in. Now, mind you, the difference being if you're actually doing trading as a living, so if you're swing trading or day trading, then that's going to be a separate fund outside of your investing fund. And you will definitely be buying and selling whatever the flavor of the month is for you. All right. And you've been in since $1.31. Okay. On Groy, nice. And they're up to 178, so that's not too bad. All right. Oh, I forgot. I thought I minimized this. All right, big head back. Yeah, so BCE, TELUS, Enbridge, TC Energy. There's a lot of different things that are there. 9 says, my loser stocks are Canadian banks, but they have a monopoly and increased dividends easy to hold. Yeah, exactly. The banks are going to come back. On the other side of the mortgage crisis, once the rates come down, we're going to see a lot of recovery. And in some banks have been doing fantastic. If you guys watched my TD video at the end of the fundamental part, I actually broke down how much each bank has made every year to date. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I still have it. Give me a second. I'll see if I can find it here. Do open recent. I have to sort of lean over to get it. There we go. All right, give me a second here. All right. No, it was right up. Here we go. Okay, so year to date. Now this is year to date a week ago. So Scotiabank is up 6.39%. CIBC is up 7.04%. National Bank is up 15.95%. Now, this is both share price and dividends. So keep in mind total return. Royal Bank is up 5.82%. And the only negatives we have, of course, are TD, because they're down 8.26%, and BMO down 0.34%. And they might even be up at this point, BMO, because like I said, this data is from about a week ago. So definitely something to keep in mind. The banks are already starting to do okay as they're preparing, as they're getting in there. Like a lot of the banks, when they put money aside for loan loss provisioning, a lot of them are erring on the putting too much money aside. And so as that all realizes and comes full circle, and especially if we get some rate cuts, that's money that's going to then come back in and start improving things. So, and even TD, I mean, TD is going to be fine. They didn't actually commit any crimes. Well, technically, like they didn't do any of the money laundering stuff. They just were lazy on the watch, and because they weren't paying attention to what was going on in their own banks, that's how the money launderers got in there and was able to exploit that weakness. And I can guarantee you, they're embarrassed. They got pie on their face. They're not going to let that happen again. If anything, they will probably sort of go overboard with the amount of scrutiny that they put on things. So just something to keep in mind. Sammer says, have you ever think or simulate a retirement portfolio for different situations, like somebody needs $4,000 a month, but just have 400K, and then maybe CC is the way to go, something like that. So yes, I'm always thinking about different versions of portfolios, and I do probably. I think it's going to be this summer. I am planning to actually do a retirement portfolio video, just break down a couple of different things. So, and it comes down to what your needs are, right? If you are retired and your only need is to create pure tax-free income out of your TFSA, well, yeah, you're probably going to be looking at covered call ETFs, or nowadays you might even, depending on your risk profile, be looking at the covered call leverage ETFs. So, like ENCL, for example, instead of ENCC. Just to get that income coming. It really depends on what you plan, how much you have, how much you need to make. So these are definitely things that we can certainly look at. And I am going to do some more retirement. I definitely need another retirement video fairly soon. Retirement videos. Well, right now the number one video on the channel is a retirement video. So I definitely want to do another one of those. And Gene asks, what is your prospect for international markets except for US and Canada? This is a great question. I really, really want to do an international video. The channel members keep bringing it up, and eventually it'll get goaded. It'll get voted through. Hopefully, though, they put it into the members' choice video. That's where I would really love to see it. But we are getting to the point that if it doesn't get voted through soon enough, I'm probably going to do it anyway. So when it comes to the international markets, my favorite international market outside of Canada and the US right now is India. India has their economy is just booming. Everything's going right for India right now. They've just become the most populous country in the world. A lot of the stuff that all of the benefits that China used to get are now starting to go to India as companies are, they're setting up shop in India and taking advantage of cheap labor. And India has been going overboard with their infrastructure. It's one of the reasons that Hammond is doing so well. So both HMM.A and HPS.A, they do North America and India. And as it is with India and the infrastructure projects over there, they have more companies wanting them to work with them to do the job for them than they can handle. So they have a lineup of customers who want to get in. So we definitely have to see how that's going to go. But it's one of the reasons I'm super hyped on Hammond as well as India. I think it's a good combination. Ricardo says, have you ever considered doing a video on defense stocks since the U.S. is about to emerge into a recession? All data points at it. Defense and staple stocks have been on the rise. So yeah, defensive. So basically, when you go back to your circle the wagon, a lot of these circle the wagon stocks are quite defensive if you think about it that way. So yeah, that is something, and we'll look at things about this like right now. I don't think we're going to drop into a recession at this point. It's still quite a ways off, but things can change. Right now, they still have positive GDP, so you need 2 quarters of negative GDP to get into a technical recession. And they also have they also still have strong jobs. So I don't think that's going to happen anytime at least this year. Maybe things will continue to get worse, and we'll have to sort of reevaluate it from there. But yeah, if it looks like we're going to go into a recession, I will absolutely start doing some defensive videos. No problem about it. Amvas says, I voted for Ottawa in Brandon's Investors Tour Blossom vote post. Oh, did he put a vote post? I got to check it out. If it's in another cities in Ontario, would you consider attending? As a self-investor and employed, would be expensive be okay. As a self-investor and employed, would expenses be tax deductible? Thanks. You might be able to pull that off. I don't know. It really comes down to if you have yourself registered as a business, you could probably find a way to write that off. If you're not registered as a business, then you may have a bit more of a difficulty doing it. But I have a feeling Ottawa will probably win. I just have a feeling. I have a feeling. I know there's a lot of people who want it to come to Ottawa, and I would love for it to come to Ottawa too, because then it's super easy for me to attend because I'm in Ottawa, right? But yes, if Ottawa doesn't win, I would certainly consider. Like I came really close to, I really thought about going to Montreal last year, but things just didn't line up correctly at that point. But this year, yeah, I would consider it. We have to see where it goes, but I will go in there and vote for Ottawa too. I didn't know he put a vote up, but that's fantastic. What I'd like to see is don't touch the cities that they did last year. So you could, for example, you could do like Edmonton, maybe Winnipeg. That would be kind of cool. Edmonton, Winnipeg, Ottawa, and Halifax. That's what I think should be done because I think that would be really, really, really good. So that's kind of where I am leaning. Let's see. What is your opinion on European markets? I've had a chance to look at the UK market a little bit, and I found it. I didn't. It's not that I'm going to say I found it unwanting or anything. I found it kind of similar to what we have in Canada, other than the fact that you've got different companies. So one of the things I usually recommend when you're looking at markets that you're unfamiliar with, so whether it be a European market, an Asian market, Australia also has a pretty robust market as well. I usually say your best bet is to get in there, start off with some ETFs. You know, go by sectors. Like which sectors are you bullish on? Which sectors, are doing well in the UK or in Europe? And then start with ETFs from there. And then the next step is, well, YouTube. There are some really good European people who do the exact same thing I'm doing, but for Europe. So, watch some of them just to get yourself, just to kind of get the overlay of the land. Then do your due diligence as usual. And if you're going to go individual stocks. Now, the other thing too is depending on, I don't know where you are, Gene, but if you're in Canada, you also then want to start to look at your broker. Can you invest in companies outside of North America? So you want to make sure that your broker does that. And I think some brokers do. And I know that there are some brokers that you may not be able to do that. I don't think correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Wealthsimple will let you invest in individual stocks. Like, for example, if you want an ETF for India with Wealthsimple, you're pretty much going to be stuck with a Canadian ETF that invests in Indian stocks for you. So you want to check that. Make sure you have all your ducks in a row, of course. All right, guys, we're getting close to the end. We've passed our hour mark, which is fantastic. I love it if we pass an hour. If you got final questions, drop them down there. You never know; you might keep me going for a while if you got some good questions. I'm gonna have a cup of tea while you guys are dropping your questions, comments, salutations, all of that stuff in the chat. Oh, that's so good. Always, always good. Amvas says, looking forward to your cash ETF and retirement investing. I appreciate your CPP video too. If CPP for individuals is lost completely upon death, is it best to take it at 55? It really comes down to a couple of things, Amvas. The biggest factor, in my opinion, is your health. Health and family history. Put them together, sort of lump them together. So if people in your family live long, so let's say a lot of your parents lived well into their late 80s, early 90s, then you're going to make more money if you wait. But we're talking straight math, right? So if you're actually investing it, you could do better, but there's a lot of buts in this. That's if the market's that's if I saw your next word, apologies. That's if the market does what you're hoping. So if, for example, you take it at 55 saying, yeah, I can make that money on the market. I can do that myself. But then we go into a bear market. Well, then you're kind of pooched. You would have been better off in that case to leave it in. So this is what I always say. Don't think so much about how much you can make investing. Think about your health. Okay. So if you're coming up on 55 and most people in your family live very, long, and you're healthy as a fiddle and you don't have any, let's say you don't smoke and maybe you drink socially, but not a lot. You get your exercise and, and there's no reason why you're not going to live that old, then you might want to delay. And keep in mind, here's the beautiful thing. You can, you don't have to delay from 55. You don't have to wait, from 55, 60. I think it's 60. So at 60, you don't have to wait till you're, 70. You can grab it anywhere in between. You grab it at 65. You could delay it for 1 year and say, okay, well, I'll make up my mind again next year. Let's just wait a year. Another factor too comes into, are you going to need it? Do you need it? That's kind of another thing as well. If you're 60 and, CPP is available if you need it, if you don't need it, you may want to delay it. And I'm going to complicate this even more. When you're looking at all of the different supports, let's say you're in a situation where if you take CPP later, it's gonna impact your, let's say your GIS. Then you may want to take it at a smaller amount so that it doesn't impact it. So you kind of have to weigh things together. It's not, this will be the best thing when AI gets there. AI, you'll be able to give it, here's all my information. Give me the best mathematical plan. I'm going to name that AI Mr. Math for sure. But you could do it. You could do it. Absolutely. Let's see here. Amvest says, my apologies of my terms. Brandon only has an inquiry. Okay, yeah, I saw that. If it's in Ottawa, will we have a banana bread meetup at Starbucks? We'll do something. If it's, yeah, here's the thing. If there's I know there are people here in Ottawa. We could always do something, outside of Blossom. If you guys want, that is an option. We'll just have to figure it all out. Or it's just one of these things. Maybe we could have a meetup and then we'll live stream the meetup. That would be fun. So yeah, it'd be fun. We'll figure something out. I'm hoping, like I said, that Blossom does Ottawa because then I got no excuses. I gotta get out there and smooge with you guys and with the other YouTubers, and probably Canadian in a t-shirt will show up. He shows up at all of them. And of course, Brandon and his father and a whole bunch of people. So it could be a lot of fun. Absolutely. Whew. All right, guys. I think we've come to the end of another market close. This was a bonus one. So we'll be back here in 2 days on Wednesday. We're going to do this all over again. You guys show up, bring your questions, bring your stuff, because keep in mind, if you guys have tons of questions, we'll keep going as long as it takes. Or at least until I fall asleep, that type of thing. We'll see how that goes. So until next time, everybody, have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Bye, everybody.